I gave every NBA team their best all-time players. So the way I did this is I went to the all-time rosters, found the player with the highest overall, and added that player to the current team's roster. So for example, with the Sixers, it's Moses Malone. And since Joel Embiid is also a center, I'm going to go ahead and move Moses Malone over to the 4 spot so that they can play alongside each other. For the Milwaukee Bucks, you've got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, a 99 overall big man playing alongside Giannis. Of course, for Chicago, it's Michael Jordan. Who else would it be? A 99 overall. For the Cavs, again, pretty much a no-brainer. LeBron James is on the squad. The Celtics have Larry Bird. They've already got Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, so a lot of wing depth on the squad. I'll play Bird at the 4 and I guess move KP to the 5. I mean, he is 7'3", so he should be able to figure it out. For the Clippers, we've got Kawhi Leonard. That's right, he was their best all-time player, and he's also currently on the team. For the 17 games Kawhi Leonard has actually been active for in LA, he's been really good. The Memphis Grizzlies, they have Pau Gasol, so they'll have a really dynamic front court with Jaren Jackson and Gasol both being able to space the floor. The Atlanta Hawks have Dominique Wilkins, a high flyer alongside Trey Dejounte. The Miami Heat have LeBron James, who I'm going to play at the 4 next to Jimmy Butler. You're adding a 99 overall to a team that just went to the NBA Finals. The Charlotte Hornets have Glenn Rice. Back to the lottery for them, I guess. The next team we have is the Utah Jazz, who are picking up John Stockton. Again, though, they're probably going straight back to the lottery, trying to get somebody better for their roster. They need some more talent alongside like Stockton and Markkanen. Oscar Robertson is on the Sacramento Kings. The Kings were really good in real life over this past season, and they add a player who's at a 98 overall at the 2 guard. The New York Knicks have Walt Frazier, a good defensive player to play alongside Jalen Brunson. Brunson's going to slide over to the 2. You're going to have some really good guards there in New York. Speaking of really good guards, the Lakers get Magic to create shots for Bron and Anthony Davis. That would be an absolutely crazy big 3. The Magic add Tracy McGrady. They're probably still going to be pretty bad. The Mavericks add Dirk. Their defense is probably going to be awful, but the offense will be crazy. The Nets add Dr. J. The Denver Nuggets add David Thompson. Paul George is back in Indiana. It'd actually be interesting to see him with this current Pacers team. The Pelicans add Chris Paul to be a floor general for them. The Pistons add Isaiah Thomas, and we'll move Cade Cunningham to the 2. You have a smaller point guard and a 6'7" guy in Cade Cunningham who's going to run the 2 now. It's going to be great to see Cade back up on the floor over this next season. Also, Vince Carter, he's with the Raptors. Hakeem is with the Rockets. Tim Duncan is with San Antonio. The front court of Duncan and Wemby could be pretty crazy. The Phoenix Suns add Steve Nash, filling a hole at point guard, I guess, because I don't think that Beal or Booker are really true point guards. The Oklahoma City Thunder add Kevin Durant to an up-and-coming young squad. The Minnesota Timberwolves add KG, furthering their front court depth, so that'll be interesting to see. And the Trailblazers, they kind of have a similar issue. They just have way too many guards. Clyde will play the 3 at 6'7". And the Warriors, really a perfect fit, adding Wilt Chamberlain. They've been in need of a center for quite some time. And Elvin Hayes, I'm sorry, you're the unlucky player who had to play for the Washington Wizards. So, now that we've gone through all the rosters, we're going to simulate a couple seasons, see how things go for these teams, and see who can come out on top, winning the NBA championship as a result of adding a legend to their squad. Looking at the All-Star teams, you can see just how dominant these legends are, making an immediate impact on the league. You've got Kevin Garnett and LeBron as All-Star captains, and LeBron made quite a few appearances here on the All-Star team. At the end of the season, Wilt Chamberlain was named the MVP of the league. Victor Wembanyama was Rookie of the Year, playing alongside Tim Duncan in San Antonio. Michael Jordan was Defensive Player of the Year. Sengun was Most Improved. And Quinn Snyder, the coach of the Hawks, was the Coach of the Year. Here are your All-NBA teams. Again, a lot of our all-time players making appearances here, to no surprise, really. Some of the greatest players of all time are in this league. But I'm really interested to see how things played out in terms of the standings. Who was able to make a big impact for their team in the wins column because we know these guys can put up numbers. The Golden State Warriors were the number 1 seed as a result of adding Wilt. I said how I thought that'd be a seamless fit, and hey, W take by me. The Lakers were the number 2 seed with Magic, not a big surprise there. Grizzlies were actually number 3, and Denver was 4th with the David Thompson addition, running him at the 2 instead of KCP. And then looking at teams that missed it, the Pelicans actually missed it, which was kind of surprising considering they added a really good player in Chris Paul and usually are a good team in the sim, and the Kings usually suck in the sim, so I'm not too surprised that they didn't make it with Oscar Robertson. The Hawks were the number 1 seed, the golden child of 2K. The sim just loves them. And the Sixers were 2nd, the Celtics were 3rd, and the Miami Heat with Bron and Jimmy were the 4th seed. Nobody too surprising, really missed out on the playoffs. These are teams that I feel like we've seen miss the playoffs in real life over these past few seasons. All right, let's simulate the first round, see if we get any close series, see if anybody's able to pull off some upsets in round number 1. It looks like Golden State's going to make easy work of the Clippers and Denver's going to make easy work of the Mavericks, but the Phoenix Suns, they came in as the 7th seed and upset the Lakers with Magic, AD, and Bron. And in the East, there weren't really any notable upsets that went down. In round number 2, the Denver Nuggets are taking on the Golden State Warriors. So the Warriors solidifying themselves in the West after the Wilt Chamberlain edition. The Phoenix Suns are taking on the Memphis Grizzlies in round number 2, coming off that big upset against the Lakers. The Heat are taking on the Hawks. Hawks are loved in the sim, but I feel like on paper, the Heat have a better team. The Philadelphia 76ers are taking on the Boston Celtics as well. So we'll have to see how all these series end up panning out. It looks like the Heat are going to cook the Hawks and the Sixers do the same to the Boston Celtics. But in the Western Conference, we've got 2 Game 7s, starting off with one between Phoenix and Memphis. And Phoenix is just going to absolutely cook the Memphis Grizzlies, winning by 29 points. And also, if you're still watching so far, I'd really appreciate if you consider subscribing to the channel. We're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. We recently hit 12,000. I appreciate y'all. Anyway, let's get into this next Game 7. The Golden State Warriors are going to take down the Denver Nuggets with a big win here. They won by 22 points, I believe. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. Curry had 36 and Wilt Chamberlain putting up video game numbers in the video game. Absolutely dominating. Jamal Murray, he had a solid performance, but it's not going to be enough, and the Warriors will move on. The Phoenix Suns are taking on the Golden State Warriors in the Western Conference Finals. And in the Eastern Conference Finals, we have the Miami Heat taking on the Philadelphia 76ers. So we'll have to see how these series go. Definitely some stacked teams that are taking each other on in these NBA playoffs. And both series are tied up at 2 apiece. So we could be in store for some Game 7s. But let's see if these Game 5s are interesting. It looks like the Sixers Heat one, not too good. The Sixers are just going to cook the Heat. They win by 21 points. And, I mean, Bron had 27, Hero had 25, but it wasn't enough. We've got a Game 5 between Phoenix and Golden State, and this one is much more interesting, coming down to the wire. Warriors are up 2 and have the ball. Chris Paul gives it to Wilt Chamberlain, and Chamberlain is going to dunk it down, making it look easy off the nice feed from CP3. But I'm noticing that Steph Curry isn't in the game, so maybe he fouled out or something. Anyway, Phoenix has it. Devin Booker down the lane, and Wilt Chamberlain with some nice defense. He's going to secure the rebound, and Chris Paul is going to set things up for his team. Paul, he has it on the wing. He's going to pass it up to Wilt Chamberlain. Chamberlain, it's a one-on-one with DeAndre Ayton, and he just booms on him. Oh my goodness. Now Phoenix is down by 2 points after back-to-back Wilt buckets from Golden State. Devin Booker pulls up. He misses. Wilt Chamberlain, once again, he's just dominating. He gets the rebound, and now Chris Paul has it. Just get the ball down to Wilt again. Chris Paul, he's going to pass it to Wilt. There you go. DeAndre Ayton defending. Uh-oh, Ayton, this might not be good for you. But Wilt does miss. He gets his own rebound. Chamberlain in the post. He's going to put it up again, and he misses once again. So the Phoenix Suns end up putting up some good defense there, and they stop Wilt. But the quick shot by KD is off, and now the Golden State Warriors are moving right back in transition. Chris Paul trying to make his way to the rim. Spin layup is off, and Wilt is there again. He gets the rebound and lays it back home. Wilt Chamberlain, just clutch time heroics from him. And now the Phoenix Suns are down by 4. It's been a 6-point swing. They went from up 2 to down 4. What are they going to do? DeAndre Ayton, they give it over to Steve Nash. All right, here we go. Nash, he's going to get the screen, the pull-up 3, and it's good. Steve Nash off the nice Ayton screen is able to knock the 3 down. Then the Golden State Warriors go to the line where Klay makes the first, but ends up missing the second free throw, making it a 2-point game. The door is wide open for Phoenix. They have an opportunity for the last shot, and they're going to take it. Booker gets the screen from Ayton, but he just pulls it, and he misses. Not exactly a great look, and Phoenix is going to go down in game number 5, giving the Golden State Warriors a 3-2 series lead. What a crazy ending there, and what a dominant performance from Wilt Chamberlain. 37 points and 21 rebounds. Absolutely ridiculous from Wilt. And KD at 24. I mean, they had some guys getting buckets, but when Wilt's just dominating like that, there's not too much that you can do. The Warriors have a chance to close it out in game 6, but it's going to go 7. Meanwhile, Philadelphia did go ahead and close out the Miami Heat in 6 games. For the Sixers, you had Moses Malone with 23 and 20 to lead the way for his team to make the NBA Finals. And in game number 7 between the Suns and the Warriors, we get another hopping game. This time the Warriors are up 3. Chris Paul has it. Paul, it looks like they might be trying to get Chamberlain some room in the post. Yep, and they get it down to him. The double comes out to Draymond. Draymond knocks down the 3 to put the Warriors up by 6. What? Draymond knocks it down. Do the Phoenix Suns have an answer? In the wise words of Chris Smoove, they need a timeout. They're going to give it to Bradley Beal. Beal over to Book. Book pulls the 3, and he's going to knock it down. So this definitely leaves the door open for Phoenix. After 2 made Chris Paul free throws, though, this one's pretty much over. The Phoenix Suns needed some missed free throws from Golden State. They didn't get them, and now Golden State is going to move on to the NBA Finals. Wow. Wilt Chamberlain is just ridiculous in this. 35 and 11, and now the Warriors are taking on the Philadelphia 76ers in the NBA Finals. The Sixers had a good regular season, and so did the Warriors. Both teams fought their way to the finals, so we'll see how this goes. It looks like the Sixers are going to cook them, though. Yeah, the Sixers get it done in a sweep. James Harden is your Finals MVP. Now it's time for free agency. Salary cap will be off, but none of our all-time players will be leaving their teams. I made it so salary cap was off because once I added all these all-time players, it took up a lot of cap space for the teams. And in free agency, something absolutely ridiculous happened. LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, and James Harden went to the Sixers. Well, Harden was already there, but ridiculous stuff from Philadelphia. They lost out on Maxey, but does that really matter when you add Bron and Kawhi Leonard? They are absolutely poised to repeat as champions, and it'll be interesting to see if anybody has the answer for a team like this, because, wow. I'm going to move Kawhi Leonard to the 2 spot, I guess, because Bronny's kind of old to be playing the 2 spot, so I'll have Kawhi Leonard run the 2 for this squad, and yeah, this is just a nightmare starting 5 for the rest of the league. And speaking of a nightmare, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander won MVP, averaging over 15 a game, and all the scoring numbers were just down across the board. What happened? I think the league probably made a rule change, changing the time on the shot clock, and I just wasn't locked in like that. I was just letting the season simulate, chilling, not really paying attention, so I missed out. But look, let's see. Let's go to rule change history. 45-second shot clock. Hold on, man. We got to see how many points Draymond averaged with a 45-second shot clock. Bro was definitely, about 3 points per game, 2.9. Draymond, are you serious? Man, that's hilarious. But we got to check out the NBA standings. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he was the MVP, playing alongside KD. A lot of scoring talent between both of those guys. Surprisingly, Minnesota was number 2 this year. The Pelicans bounced back. They were number 4. And the Nuggets were number 3. Golden State was only 5th, and the Lakers didn't even make the NBA playoffs after losing LeBron James, and the Clippers, after losing one of their Kawhi Leonards, not the all-time one, the current one, to the Sixers, ended up being the worst team in the West. But the Sixers, they were great. They were number 1. Shout out SpongeBob. He was number 1. The Cavs were the number 2 seed. The Celtics were the number 3 seed. And the Atlanta Hawks were number 4. Any surprise teams that didn't make it? I mean, the Heat, I didn't expect them to be in the play-in with Bron and Jimmy Butler. But outside of that, nothing too crazy. That voice crack was very crazy. But we'll go ahead and simulate this first round, see how it goes. We do have some close series here, so hopefully we'll get some Game 7s that we can check into. And we definitely have some. We got one between the Boston Celtics and the Toronto Raptors. Just as a little refresher, this is what both of these teams are looking like. Paul George keeps going to the Raptors in these simulations. I feel like recently I've been seeing him sign with the Raptors quite a lot, but in Game 7, we've got a close one here. Toronto is down by 2 points to the Boston Celtics. Paul George has the ball. George, you know he's a known clutch player. He misses that one, though. And now the Boston Celtics are going to get the rebound. Now Jason Tatum is looking to make a play for his team and make this a 2-possession game. The screen is going to come from Kristaps Porzingis, and now Tatum's getting down the lane. He calls his own number, misses, grabs the rebound, and one! Jason Tatum with the clutch offensive board and the finish, and he goes ahead, finishes the play with the free throw. His team is up 5. The Raptors need a bucket here to keep their season alive, and Jaylen Brown is going to steal it from Paul George. Everybody's talking about, oh, he can't dribble, but he's going to get it back on the defensive side of the ball right there with the steal. The KP dunk pretty much seals the deal. This game is over. Jason Tatum, 30 points. Jaylen Brown with 22. Paul George had 25. Vince Carter was good as well, but it wasn't enough. And now what team were we watching? Oh yeah, the Celtics. They're going to be moving on. We've also got a Game 7 between the Spurs and the Denver Nuggets. Wemby and Tim Duncan. I feel like they're kind of ahead of schedule. The fact that Wemby's already in the playoffs, but hey, they're not going to make it out of the first round this season. David Thompson, 35 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists. And Tim Duncan was pretty good. Wemby, he kind of had a tough shooting game, and ultimately that wasn't enough for the Spurs to get it done. They got blown out in that Game 7. Phoenix and OKC is also going to 7. KD versus KD. Suns KD versus Thunder KD. And the Thunder are going to come out on top. Kevin Durant just getting buckets, doing what he does best. And the Thunder are going to move on to the second round. But not before a scare against the Phoenix Suns. I mean, they went 7 games against an 8 seed. So definitely a tough first round matchup considering that OKC was number 1. The Warriors and Thunder are going to match up in round number 2. Golden State looking to get back to the finals and have a different result this time, winning a championship. The Nuggets are taking on the Timberwolves in round 2. 2 different teams that I feel like we didn't see much of in the last simulation. Actually, Denver was in the second round. I don't think Minnesota was. Then we've got the Sixers and Bucks. Can anybody take down the juggernaut Sixers? And then Bron and the Cavs are taking on the Boston Celtics. So we'll see how all these series go. Hopefully, we'll end up getting some more Game 7s. Denver going to easily beat the Timberwolves. But we've got some more competitive series here with Cleveland and the Celtics headed to a Game 7. LeBron James trying to take down this Boston Celtics team to make it to a conference finals. And he's going to do exactly that. A 14-point win, 43 points, and a triple-double for Bron. And his team is going to be moving on. A really stacked squad. They need a good small forward in real life, and Bron is exactly that for them. So he ended up being a really good fit. And we've also got a Game 7 between the Sixers and Milwaukee. But before we get to that, we're going to have to check into this Warriors-Thunder Game 7. Golden State trying to make it back to the NBA Finals, but they're not going to do it. They get absolutely destroyed. A 30-point dub for the Oklahoma City Thunder. They got cooked. Wilt tried his best, but he didn't get too much help elsewhere. And then we've got the Bucks and the Sixers. This is going to be exciting. Can anybody take down this stacked Sixers team? I mean, the Bucks, they took it all the way to 7, but they weren't able to get it done in that final game. I mean, I don't blame them. There's just a lot of talent on this squad. Now our conference finals are set. OKC taking on the Denver Nuggets. This is going to be a tough series for Denver with all the scoring of Shea and KD. And then we've got the Cavs taking on the Sixers. The Cavs, I mean, if anybody's going to do it, I think they could be the team to take down Philadelphia. They have a lot of talent. Maybe not, though, because the Sixers are cooking. Okay, it's a 3-2 series. Yeah, the Sixers get it done in 6 there. But Denver and OKC do go to a Game 7 where the Denver Nuggets end up winning. LeBron James takes home a conference MVP. Even at age 40 in Philadelphia, he still continues to do his thing. And now the Nuggets are going to have to see if they can take down this absolutely stacked squad. I mean, an all 90+ starting five. Game 1 goes to Philly. Game 2 goes to Philly. Game 3 goes to Philly. This video was just Sixers domination. That's it for the video. Have a great day. Be sure to like and subscribe.